Hey guys, Marrow here. So today I'll be talking to you about one of my favorite items in the game, Badge of the Swarmguard, and why I think it might be really good in TBC. So what Badge does is it gives you a chance to gain a stack of an armor reduction effect per strike, which reduces 200 armor per stack and stacks up to 6 times, totaling 1200 armor reduced. So for us to understand why that's good, we first need to understand how armor works in Classic WoW. In Classic, most bosses have 3,731 armor, and after we apply our regular debuffs, meaning Curse of Wreck, Fairy Fire, and Thunder Armor, this leaves them with 336 armor, which means a 5.7% damage reduction. Therefore, if we're able to get rid of the remaining armor, we're basically gaining 5.7% damage, which is a lot. This becomes even better when you can take full advantage of Badge's effect, like on Trash or Cleave fights, where the adds don't have those armor reducing effects already placed on them. In that case, the damage increase provided by Badge is basically unmatched, and it makes it so it's one of the best trinkets in the entire game for Trash and Cleave situations. So, what about TBC? Well, first we gotta talk about the armor formula in TBC and how it compares to the formula in Classic. Bosses in TBC come with mostly two values of armor, either 6.2 or 7.7k. So let's look at this graph and compare how much armor we can reduce with just the quote-unquote default debuffs in each expansion. In Classic, we can reach almost full armor reduction with just our regular debuffs. But meanwhile in TBC, the most we can reach is either 74 or 83% depending on the initial boss armor. The dots on the graph represent the post-debuff armor values and the respective percent damage dealt to the bosses, with the yellow curve representing TBC and the black curve representing Classic. Now, let's look at what happens when we add Badge's full effect to the mix. We can see that versus bosses with 7.7k initial armor, after the regular debuffs are applied, Badge adds an additional 6% damage increase, which is closer to Classic value, but a little bit better. The big difference comes in when we consider a boss with 6.2k initial armor. After the regular debuffs are applied, Badge increases the damage done by an astounding 9%, which is ridiculous. This is almost like having another half a Death Wish, which is, again, pretty crazy. Now, another important thing to note is that even though we reduce the boss's armor by 1200 in both cases, when the boss had lower armor, this 1200 armor reduction was 50% more effective. This is because armor penetration effects in WoW are not linear. The lower the boss's armor is, the bigger the damage increase caused by the reduction of 1 point of armor will be. This also means that Badge actually scales with armor penetration gear and other debuffs such as improved exposed armor, which further reduces the boss's armor. Now, this only works until the boss's armor reaches 0 though, because armor cannot be reduced to lower than 0 in Classic WoW, or TBC WoW for that matter. Now, keep in mind that this is all speculation. While the two-tip of Badge in both TBC and Classic is the same, Blizzard could very well hit it with the Nerf Hammer and just completely destroy the proc for the armor debuff portion of the trinket, which would vastly reduce its efficacy. However, as it stands, it would likely be a very strong trinket well into TBC, even for single target encounters. Whether it would beat out, the big hitters of the expansion such as DST or Tsunami Talisman remains to be seen once we get more information about those items and we get the Sims for TBC working as well. But if I were you, I would probably just take a little break from Nax and go back into AQ just on the off chance that everything we are talking about comes to fruition. That was it for this video, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave any feedback that you may have, as I really want to get better at making these videos. And if you guys have any ideas of things that I should explain or look at, please let me know as well. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and share with your friends. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.